All right, great. Thanks. Thank you so much. All right, please go on.
All right, Oluyemisi. So I'm just going to kick off with our first question. So I know Eben has already introduced you, but if you can just tell us a little bit more about yourself, maybe there's something he didn't mention, and let us know how you became a world-class English language educator.
Thank you very much. I must say that I feel highly honored to be able to grant this interview this evening. How did I become a world-class English educator? Okay, I'm someone who is always in quest of knowledge. I'm always in search for knowledge, looking everywhere for knowledge. So I would say that over the years, I've been adding value to myself. That's all I can say. I've been adding value to myself. I had my first degree in English education. I got a job immediately, but I didn't end it there. Actually, as of today, I'm not using my master's degree as an employee of the Ogun State government. So I didn't go for a master's degree because I needed it. I went for a master's degree because I saw the need to upgrade. I saw the need to upgrade my subject mastery. And then I've taken a few other courses, and every now and then you see me volunteering, you see me interning. And at a point in this career, I found that I needed to put myself out there. I needed to widen my reach. So I started teaching English on Facebook and on Instagram. Then I moved on to LinkedIn. So overall, what I would say is that I'm someone who is always learning. So I'm committed to a lifelong learning program. And it's the glory of God that has helped me to be able to compete with my contemporaries outside Nigeria. So I wouldn't say that it's my degree that has gotten me to where I am today, but it's my consistent pursuit of growth, if you understand what I mean.
Yes, totally understand that. I know this question isn't here, but why English? It could have been math, it could have been one of the science subjects, but why English?
I would have been the worst math teacher you would ever meet if I had studied math. I should say that I had problem with calculation, but hard will not be the best word to use. I think have is the best word to use because even till now, simple calculation gives me a lot of problem. So I would say that I've been passionate about English for a long time because my mom studied English. My immediate sister studied English. So it's like, it's in the blood. We are passionate about this language in the family. So
that's great. I just thought to throw that in there because I was wondering, why English and why such a passion for English. So I'm just going to move on to the next question we have here. It says, what did it feel like to win the 2022 TOEFL English Practitioners Prize? And I hear you're the first African to win the prize. Is that correct? Yes. Well, it is correct because we all read your LinkedIn. It was almost the first thing you said when you made the post, and I was like, tell us about that. Tell us. So what did it feel like to win the prize? What did it feel like?
I should say gratitude, but that won't really capture it. It should be shock. I was first shocked because I knew that I aced the interview. I knew that I impressed the panel, but I had my doubts because I had checked, I had done my background check, and I found that no African had ever won this before. So I wasn't really expecting it, to be honest with you. I wasn't really expecting it. So when I just got the mail, when I received the mail that I won, I was shocked. I was, I have no words to express the shock. So first it was shock, then it's morphed to gratitude. So I'm super grateful. I'm grateful for for the opportunity to win this on merits. I'm grateful to ETS for not looking at my skin tone, for not looking at my skin complexion, but for choosing me on merits. So I'm grateful to God, I'm grateful to my parents, I'm grateful to my husband. As a matter of fact, I have a very strong support system. You know, the people in my circle are always nudging me to go on, they're always cheering me on. Even if this particular prize, I wasn't going to apply because it got to a point that I felt I could no longer go on because I was attempting to submit my application and it kept on bouncing and it was bouncing. And then my sister had to tell me because I had just 2 or 3 hours, 2 hours to the deadline. So my sister just told me to forward the documents to her. I forwarded the documents to her and she submitted on my behalf. So I'm grateful. First, I was shocked. Now I'm grateful.
All right, that's amazing. I mean, I think I can relate when it comes to submitting applications a few hours to the deadline, especially when the internet decides to just mess you up. And it's also amazing to hear about your support system as well that you have around you in terms of your family, your relationships, and so on and so forth, which is great. And like you said, gratitude is the first thing, and gratitude and shock. So I can totally relate to that. And I'm sure that a lot of people who are also in the chat section listening to us as well can relate to that feeling of shock where you apply for something and you leave it alone. You don't think about it too much so that you don't get too disappointed if it doesn't happen. So first of all, yes. I want to say another congratulations to you one-on-one for winning the prize. It was definitely an amazing one. So moving on to our next question. It says here, the Education First English Proficiency Index 2021 lists Nigeria as part of the top 30 best English speaking countries in the world. From your experience so far, do you agree with this? And if yes or no, why?
I absolutely agree, and I'll tell you why. Let me first read this quote by Chinua Achebe. It says, I believe that the English language will be able to carry the weight of my African experience, but it has to be a new English, still in full communion with its ancestral home, but altered to suit its African environment. Now, here is the thing. The variants of English language that Nigerians speak might not totally agree with the variant of English spoken by the native speakers, but that fact doesn't make our English substandard. The truth is that English language is a living language. And then because English language is a living language, it keeps on invading new territories, taking territories. And as a result, it has yielded itself to borrowing and adaptability. You agree with me that when we were in secondary school, probably, yes, when we were in primary school, secondary school, we learned about foreign words in English language, words of Latin origin, words of Greek origin. And then recently, some Nigerian words made it to some dictionaries. So as a result, we can say that English language adapts itself to any society it finds itself. Now, there is no way we can divorce language from society because society uses language. The variants of English that I will speak will be different from that of someone who doesn't live in Nigeria. Let me give you an example. I teach English language in the classroom and I teach English language online. And if you search my archives, you might find a post where I said, it's wrong to say ma to someone who is not your mother. And if you check standard dictionaries, you will find that it is true. You don't say ma to someone who is not a mother. You can also say ma to an aged woman. who is not your mother. But if someone is not aged and the person is not your mother, you're not supposed to say ma to that person. I teach this, I teach people. But come to my place and see me saying ma to people. I say ma because in this part of the world, you are regarded as disrespectful. If you don't say ma to colleagues, even colleagues, people who may not
Hello?
be older than you are, exactly older than you are. So that is the place of social linguistics. Now, an American might not find this permissible, but in Nigeria, you just have to say it because you need to appeal to the psyche of the people around you. So I would say that Nigerians speak functional English, and that's what is important. We speak functional English, we need to communicate. And once we are able to communicate, I don't believe that there should be a big deal. Now, the plural linguistic environment we are in Nigeria gives English language an edge. An average educated Nigerian speaks more English than his or her native language in formal settings. Now, about 5-6 days ago or last week, my younger sister was talking to me about her daughter. The girl will turn 2 in the next 2 months, and she has started speaking. And my sister was telling me that she has to become intentional about teaching this girl Yoruba, because if you don't relate with her in English, she blanks out. She pretends as if she doesn't hear you. So she doesn't speak to you in Yoruba. She doesn't answer you if you speak to her in Yoruba. It is that bad. So our native languages now have to compete with English. Now, we learn English language from primary school to tertiary institution. I don't know what course you study in the university that you not still take use of English. I don't know. I don't know what course that is going to be. So we study it from primary school, in fact, kindergarten. We study it from kindergarten level all to tertiary institution. Yet, variant of English language is regarded as substandard. The truth is that there is what we call Englishes. You can check Englishes. English will not take the plural form if there are not so many variants. So I can say that Nigerians speak functional English and we have English language competence. And let me tell you this truth. The fact is that the concept of Nigerian English has come to stay. Nigerian English was one of the standardization of Nigerian English was one of the courses I took as master's level, where some expressions that we condemn are being standardized. Scholars are working tirelessly on standardizing Nigerian English because it captures our own reality. The reality of Nigerians in some aspects is different from that of someone living in Canada. Just like the example I gave you now, the example of saying ma, not saying ma to someone who's not your mother. So we are also working on standardizing Pidgin English. So these variants of English language have come to stay. There is no denying that fact. They are going to be standardized. The owners of this language should make peace with the fact that their language is prestigious. So English language will flirt with other languages. It will invade territories. And there is no way the dwellers, the residents of these territories will not put their signature on the language. So I would say an emphatic yes. Nigerians have language competence when we talk about English language.
Okay, there were a lot of gems to take out from everything you just said, and I would just like to encourage, even if you're putting this recording out there, please start with this question. She started with Chinua Achebe, so she nailed it, absolutely nailed the answer to this question, and I really appreciate it, especially where you are trying to let us understand that, there's a bit of our culture that will have to seep into English language because it is a living language. You cannot say you will come into this culture and parts of their culture will not seep into the English language. It is almost damn near impossible. And I also, most of my English as well was learned from Nigeria. I did not learn English from anywhere else in the world. People make it seem like because I didn't have my university degree in Nigeria, that's why my English is so perfect. No, that's not true. I had great and impeccable teachers of English language here in Nigeria. Like you said, just because of how well I was taught in English, I never actually cared to speak my native language. So it baffles all of us in this room when people try to make our English language seem substandard, but I'm glad that you are having a voice to this conversation. So I'm going to quickly move on to our next question. It says here, on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the performance of Nigerians you have trained so far for these English exams? Why do you give such a rating?
All right. Let me first start by telling you that acing an exam like IELTS or TOEFL is not a function of language competence. Please know that. I am a certified IELTS trainer. I would say, to answer that question directly, I would say that on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll rate the people I have trained 7. Yes, I'll give them 7 points. And here is why. Someone who is a graduate of English will call you on the phone and tell you that, oh, I failed IELTS again, and you'll be shocked. This is someone who is not only a graduate of English, but also speaks Queen's English. So from experience, I've learned that there is more to passing IELTS than having communicative competence in English. That is the simple fact. I've been able to help a lot of people, people who are taking IELTS for the second time or taking IELTS for the third time. There are some tricks I teach them. Once you master these tricks and you do the work, you are going to do well in the exam. So I'll say on a scale of 1 to 10, I'll rate them 7. Then let me come back to the issue of Nigerians being, could you please repeat the question? There is an aspect of that question that I want to address.
That's not a problem. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the performance of Nigerians you have trained so far for these English exams? Why do you give such a rating?
Okay. The Nigerians have trained so far for these English exams. Good. The point is that IELTS is not 100% an English exam. Okay. If you have taken IELTS before, I believe that those that have taken IELTS before can attest to this. You don't really, if it's an English exam, you don't really need to master some specific IELTS test taking strategies. Now, I want to say it emphatically that as a trainer, I have realized that if people don't master specific IELTS test taking strategies, they can't ace this exam. For example, when I'm teaching you the writing module, I teach you that you shouldn't give them more than 4 paragraphs. Don't write below 4 paragraphs. Don't write more than 4 paragraphs. And IELTS has their specifications. Okay, in paragraph 1, this is what we want to see. In paragraph 1, you must have your background statement, you must have your thesis statement. And in paragraph 2, this is what you must have. In paragraph 3, this is what you must have. And then in the reading test, I hope you know that in the reading test, in IELTS reading test, I will tell you that to ace the reading test, you need not read. Okay, so tell me, this is a reading test, and I believe that it should be an appraiser of my ability to read. But the truth is that I will be doing a disservice to myself if I read in IELTS reading tests. So I won't really say that IELTS is an assessment of language competence. No, I won't say that. And I'll tell you that I'm able to train people for IELTS, not because I'm a graduate of English, not because I have a master's degree in English, but because I took a special training to prepare people for IELTS. So that's it. IELTS is not exactly a language evaluation mechanism.
Okay. First of all, the first thing I want to notice, if she gave Nigerians that she has trained in IELTS a 7, if her rating is a 7, if you know anything about English language, that is an amazing score. Like if your English language teacher gives you an 8, he's being generous, he's being very kind to you. So a 7 as a rating is a beautiful score. Let me just state that out there for fact, in case anybody is trying to find out what that means. It's a beautiful score to get. So I'm going to just move on to the next question. It says, from the standpoint of an expert facilitator, what advice do you have for us and our movement as we continue to press on the Home Office to revisit its English proficiency exemption list to include Anglophone African countries?
All right. I would say that, okay, to be blunt, I'll say that this is premature. It's premature because there is a need for us to do our homework. Pressing for IELTS reform is not the first thing to do. Pressing for education reform is the first thing to do. The truth is that the system is there. Nigerians speak English. Nigerians have communicative competence in English, but is our education system trustworthy? That's the question. Thing is, do these people trust us? That is why I was really shocked when I won this prize. I was really shocked because I know that we are infamous in the international community. Nigerians are infamous. I can name the number of opportunities I had missed in the past simply because of my skin color, simply because I'm from Nigeria. I'm from the same country with Hush Puppy. So the truth is this, there is a need for us to reevaluate our education system. As an educator, this is my 13th year. An employee of the Ogun State Teaching Service Commission. I'm not saying this to discredit the governments, and it's not even about the present governance. It's about what we have built up over the years. Our education system is faulty. We know it ourselves. We know it. Our education system is faulty. So we should begin to look at how to improve our education system such that we are not looked down upon. I'm not talking about the education system in Ogun State alone. I'm talking about the education system in Nigeria. I'm talking about the education system in Africa. The truth remains that the West does not regard our education system as competent. So they really don't believe that we've learned enough English in the school to be able to cope when we get to their country. They won't believe it because they can see everything that is happening in our education system. So I will say that before we begin to press for a reformation of standardized tests, we should press for a reformation of our education system. Let the world see that we've upgraded, then they can build their trust. Now take this as an example. If you come to visit me and another person comes to visit me, and this other person is someone I've related with for some time, I know who she is, we are close. There is this cordiality. You know that I won't allow you to go beyond my sitting room. But this other person can enter my bedroom because I trust her. I don't trust you. So that's just an analogy. So it's important for us as Nigerians to push for a total overhauling of our education system. We really need to upgrade. Yes, I won't undermine the fact that there are Nigerian students that are doing exploits. Yes, Faith Odusi was just 15. Faith Odusi was just 15 last year when she won the national open mathematics competition involving several countries of the world, and she's a Nigerian. So there are Nigerians that are doing exceptionally well, but what is our reputation? Do these people believe in our education system? If they don't believe in our education system, it might be hard for them to consider us. Now, I am grateful that there are different conjugations of the options we are giving them. But if we are asking for a total exemption of Nigerians, no, I'm not saying, as a matter of fact, I became an IELTS trainer because it saddened my heart the way someone will speak English and still fail. The way someone will tell you that she's a graduate of English and still fail. So yes, I'm for this course. If I'm not in support of this course, I will not even be here this evening. I'm in support of this course. But then, before you blame people, before you blame outsiders for disrespecting you, be sure that you're not disrespecting yourself. So let's ask if the West can help. Let's ask them for consolidation. Let's ask them for fortification. If there is anything they want to do to help, let them fortify our education system. Let them consolidate. Let our government consolidate our education system. Let's raise the bar. Then we can begin to, press charges against these people. I want to say that, and I want to say that, what was I going to say? I've even forgotten. I've forgotten. I may remember later.
All right, that's fine. I mean, I can understand where you're coming from when it comes to narrative. Now, in the work that myself, even
if you will excuse me, please.
No, please carry on.
I want to say that the decision of ETS to consider me for this prize is a step in the right direction. So if these people begin to consider us, maybe we can get more support from them. Now, this prize that I've won will help me to teach my students, my students in JSS2. It will help me to teach them with computer-assisted language learning resources. These are students that I've been teaching with chalk and blackboard, the typical public primary school in Nigeria. These are students I've been teaching with blackboard and chalk, but now I begin to teach them with computers, projectors, whiteboard, and then we have access to English learning center